Welcome to my channel, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tanush, and today I've taken up a very informal topic. So this is not going to be a formal video, and if you're looking out for formal video, I will be making that very soon. So this is about how the upcoming Mahadasha is going to be, or someone has embarked on a new Mahadasha, and people are quite apprehensive about how the dasha would be. So I received many comments, and most of the comments are basically that I'm about to start this Mahadasha, I'm about to start Saturn Mahadasha, how the dasha would be for me. So people are quite apprehensive, and obviously, there are reasons because we can plan. So the main aim of Vedic astrology, how I see, is to understand the upcoming period, how it is going to be, and then plan our life in a similar way, right? So technically, if we want to talk about how the Mahadasha would be, then we need to see many things about that particular planet. For example, if we want to see how Jupiter Mahadasha is coming, the upcoming Jupiter Mahadasha, or someone has embarked on Jupiter Mahadasha, 16 years Jupiter Mahadasha, how it would be. So we look at, whether Jupiter is friend of the ascendant, whether Jupiter is functional, malefic or benefic, which sign Jupiter is sitting in, right? Where the dispositor of that sign is sitting, how it is placed, which nakshatra Jupiter is sitting, where the Lord of the nakshatra is sitting, how it is situated, what are the conjunctions which Jupiter has, aspects which Jupiter is receiving. We also look at, the placement of Jupiter in Navamsha. So many things we consider. But I'm making this video, a general video, so that people can just look at the chart and try to understand, how the upcoming Mahadasha would be. Or suppose someone has just got onto a new Mahadasha, embarked on a new Mahadasha of a planet. So how that's going to be. So simple 4 5 things I would like to tell, so you can judge yourself how it would be, right? So first few things which we need to know is what is a functional malefic and functional benefic. So any planet, if the Mool Trikon Rashi of that planet, so generally except for Sun, Moon, Rahu and Ketu, or except for Sun and Moon, we can say that the other planets generally they hold two signs. Like Saturn, is the lord of Capricorn and Aquarius. Jupiter is the lord of Sagittarius and Pisces. So Mercury is the lord of, again, two signs which are Gemini and Virgo. So every planet is lord of two houses except for Sun and Moon. So if the Mool Trikon Rashi, for example, for Saturn it is Aquarius, for Jupiter it is Sagittarius. If the Mool Trikon Rashi is either 6th, 8th or 12th from the ascendant, then that particular planet becomes a functional malefic for that particular chart or that particular ascendant, right? So this is the first thing we need to see, whether that planet is functional malefic or functional benefic. So if it is functional malefic, which means one of the Mool Trikon Rashi is either 6, 8 or 12. So that means that the Mahadasha is not going to be an easy one for you, right? So again, there are many other parameters. It would not be right to judge straight away saying that it's not going to be good for you. But even if Dasha is kind of okay for you, it will be with many obstacles, right? So that is one thing we need to consider. Second is whether that planet is debilitated in your chart or it is placed in an enemy sign. So these are few things which we need to see. So if it is debilitated, again, you have to check if it is functional malefic or functional benefic. So if it is debilitated and if it is a Yokaraka planet for you, meaning it's a lot of one Kendra house and one Trikon house, then still it will do good for you. And then that comes with lot of hurdles and obstacles, like I said, right? So these are few things which we consider. Now, what you have to do is check which houses the planet owns. So if it is holding Kendra houses, then obviously Kendra or even Trikon houses, then obviously the Dasha is going to be a good one for you. And based on which house it is owning, the focus of that particular Dasha or that particular time period would be on that particular front only, right? So for example, if for example, let us consider Gemini ascendant. So someone is about to start Jupiter Mahadasha. So Jupiter is the lord of your 7th and your 10th house, right? And when Gemini ascendant people, they start Jupiter Mahadasha, the main focus during this Mahadasha would be the matters of 7th house and the matters of 10th house. So this entire 16-year period would be focused on your career, your growth, partnership, marriage, relationship. So that would be the main focus, and you will get multiple opportunities to grow in your career, right, based on how Jupiter is situated. So, so if you are starting a particular Mahadasha, see which houses that particular planet holds. And what happens is, whenever a planet holds two houses, right, it has to justify both the houses, meaning it has to give results of the first house which it owns, and the second house which it owns. And obviously the flavor of Mool Trikon Rashi would be more, it it would be predominant, but in general it has to justify these two houses, right? So generally it is said that look from the ascendant. So again, we'll take the example of Gemini ascendant. So when Jupiter Mahadasha kicks in, right? So from the ascendant, the first house would be the 7th house. So the matters of 7th house would come to highlight during the first half of Jupiter Mahadasha. So the first 8 years, the more focus would be on matters of 7th house, right? And the next 8 years, it would again, focus on the career growth and development. So generally, it's a mix, but this is how the planet acts. Now, second thing you have to see is where that particular planet is situated. So even that particular house will get activated, and the aspects of that planet, obviously. So, for example, if Jupiter is situated in your, say, fifth house, so the results of Jupiter will have the flavor of fifth house also, right? Suppose Jupiter is situated in your 11th house, house of gains, right? So it indicates, that this period would be full of gains for Gemini ascendant. So this is how you see, which houses the planet owns, how are they situated, and the planet has to justify both the houses. And which order it would come depends upon, the placement of planet, whether it is direct or whether it is retrograde. But it has to justify both the houses. So in some cases, what happens is, the planet is not a functional malefic, meaning the Mool Trikon Rashi of the planet doesn't hold a 6th, 8th, or 12th house, but the other house holds, one of these three houses, meaning the house 6, 8, and 12. And the Mool Trikon Rashi is, say, a decent house. So again, the planet has to justify both the houses, but the flavor is more towards, the inclination is more towards the Mool Trikon Rashi. So it will take that flavor and then it will give results. So it will be more of positive than negative, but the matters of, one has to deal with the matters of either 6th house, 8th house, or 12th house, whichever house that particular planet holds, right? So we cannot avoid that result. So if it is owning, say, 8th house, then like for example, for Gemini ascendant, Saturn is the lord of 8th and 9th house. So when Saturn Dasha starts, first half, if Saturn is direct, the first half would be more focused on giving the results of the 8th house. So 8th house is like sudden events, dealing with secretive things, dealing with hidden things, sudden transformation, sudden accidents, right? So whatever 8th house represents, one has to deal with it. So the first part of Saturn Mahadasha for Gemini ascendant, considering Saturn is direct, is filled with things of 8th house. And then after 9.5 years, that is when Saturn starts giving the result of the 9th house. But because 9th house is the Mool Trikon Rashi of Saturn, even the results of 8th house will have that flavor of 9th house, right? So even though it would be intense, but the flavor of ninth house is always there. It's always there. And eighth house dasha of Gemini ascendant, I mean the first house, is always considered to be a tough one, right? And people can certify it. Many people have gone through it, and they have struggled. But the second half is again all about the ninth house matters. So that is how the planet justifies both the houses. So this is how you have to judge the Mahadasha. Now, for example, suppose if someone is planning to get married and they have started a new Mahadasha. So see if that planet holds or is the lord of the seventh house. So either the lord of seventh house, fifth house, 11th house, right? So primarily the seventh house. So if it is the lord of seventh house, obviously it is a time for marriage. Or if it is lord of some good house, and based on the transit of Jupiter and that planet, if the seventh house is getting activated, then obviously that is the time for marriage. So that is how you judge, right? A particular Mahadasha, what are results you can expect from that particular Mahadasha is based on which houses that particular planet holds, whether it is a functional malefic or functional benefic, and where it is placed. Now, if it is placed in conjunction with some other planet, a tight conjunction, then obviously the other planet is going to impact the results of the planet whose Mahadasha you are going through. And if some planet is aspecting again the planet of whose Mahadasha you are going through, that planet, the aspecting planet, throws its its flavor, or its energy into that particular planet. For example, Jupiter Mahadasha. Suppose Ketu is aspecting Jupiter, then Ketu will throw its energy on Jupiter, and Jupiter will have to give results based on the position of Jupiter and the aspect of Ketu. So Ketu will also come into picture. So similarly, if Mercury is aspecting Jupiter, then Mercurian energy will be there with Jupiter when it's giving the result, right? So even the aspects, conjunctions, especially tight conjunctions, so all these play a vital role, right? So this is just at a very high level. For it's probably 10,000 feet high what I'm talking. But if you want to judge a Mahadasha, just see which houses that particular planet holds, whether it is functional malefic or functional benefic, and how it is placed, right? And divide, if it is holding two houses, like I said, divide the Mahadasha period into two houses. So if we go in chronological order from the ascendant, if your the Mahadasha lord is direct, then based on which house comes first, you'll see the results of that particular house coming in during the first half, and then the second house effects would be seen in the later half of the dasha. So this is what I've learned from my astrology teacher, and this I've been using. It comes true in most of the cases, right? And suppose, for example, if you are going for some loan, right? So if you want to purchase, say, a property, and if you have started on the dasha of your sixth house, then, and if the sixth house lord is actually badly placed or aspected by some very negative planet or in conjunction with a negative planet, then it's better to avoid taking loan during that period. So these are some of the things which we can analyze on our own, and then later judge whether you have to go for that particular thing or not, right? Similarly, if there are things of eighth house, you can take extra care, uh, and especially I've seen when a major shift of Mahadasha is happening. Suppose, for example, someone has gone through a Mahadasha of Mercury of 17 years, where things are very good, considering Mercury is very well placed. Things are very good, people flourish like anything during Mercury Mahadasha. And then during the end, once you finish this, Ketu Mahadasha is, looking at you, it's waiting. In general, Ketu Mahadasha is considered a little tough. It depends upon how it is placed. Again, many factors. But in general, it's considered to be tough. So generally it is said that, the expenses are high, money gets stuck during this period, and many other things. So if someone is planning to buy a property towards end of Mercury Mahadasha, it would be wise to hold back, save the money, because you might need the money during the Ketu Mahadasha, so that your Mahadasha would be quite peaceful. You can sail through that Mahadasha easily, and then during Venus Mahadasha you can plan for things, right? So this was a quite informal video, but I am going to make a formal video where I'll speak about what all technical considerations would be there to judge an upcoming Mahadasha. So guys, thank you so much for watching my video.